Going into the India versus New Zealand crunch World Cup game, and I say it's a crunch game because this is both sides who will of course be going into this game undefeated. They won 4 out of 4 up until this point, and you know one streak is going to end, but both have looked by some distance the most complete sides up until this point in the ICC World Cup. So the big question going into that was, how is it that India make up for or work without the presence of a Hardik Pandya, who we know will not in fact be making it into the playing 11 for that team. The BCCI have already ruled him out. Now, we at Sports Today did speculate a little bit that you'd require 2 changes, but this was perhaps the first time that you'd get to pose those questions to the man in charge himself, Rahul Dravid. Now, he didn't give away too much early on, but there were some indications as to where it is that the team management's thought processes were when it comes to how it is that they'll fill the void of a player who, truth be told, played 2 roles, which means you would potentially have to bring in 2 players. First off, he did admit that the absence of Hardik Pandya does add a lot to their woes, because he said that Hardik Pandya is an important player for us. He is an important all-rounder who helps us balance the playing 11. We may not have the balance in his absence. That last part is very important. We may not have the balance in his absence. What is that balance he's referring to? That balance is of being able to play 8 batters, assuming of course all your all-rounders are fit. The problem is that now with no Hardik Pandya, you cannot possibly slot in another all-rounder, because quite frankly your team doesn't have another pace bowling all-rounder. You have 2 pace bowling all-rounders, one in Hardik Pandya, the other in Shardul Thakur, both of whom are part of your playing 11. So that balance does go. That gives you hint number 1. And he says you may not have that balance in his absence, which means that playing 6 bowlers would seem a little bit tough. You might very well just have to settle in and play 5 full bowlers. As for what it is that they could do to fill in that slot of the batter and bowler, the bowler seems pretty obvious. Someone like a Shami will definitely step in. But what about the batter? Because you do have options there. You could potentially bring in Suryakumar Yadav, who has done that role very well in recent times, where he comes in lower down the order and plays his T20 style game. Ishant Kishan was in very, very good form before KL Rahul came back and cemented himself as the first choice wicketkeeper bat as well as number 5. So who do you bring in there? Well, he did drop a little bit of a hint there as well, because he said that Suryakumar Yadav has come into great form, and we've seen it against Australia. If we are looking for an enforcer, then he fits the bill. So Suryakumar Yadav fits the bill, which means potentially the prediction that we had made, where we said that you could be seeing a Shardul Thakur sit out along with Hardik Pandya, and you bring in Mohammad Shami to play the bowling role and Suryakumar Yadav to fill in for the batting, does seem to be the most likely case in point to how it is that they deal with the absence of Hardik Pandya. As Dravid admits, yes, it would mean that they would have no balance because they don't have a 6th bowling option, so that ability to add that variety which Hardik did, because he gave you another option both with bat and ball, is no longer there. The other option is of course that you could play someone like Ravichandran Ashwin, but are the conditions of Dharamshala going to suit him necessarily? Don't think so, and that's why you saw nary a mention of Ashwin in this particular press conference. He's focused a lot on Sky. There were a lot of questions taken on about, let's say, we're keeping our options close, but this did suggest and give it away just a little bit that you may very well be seeing Sky make a comeback into the playing 11. But what about other things? Because there were many other issues that he was quizzed about. One of them being the fact that a couple of pitches in the course of the World Cup were actually given average ratings by the ICC, and Dravid had some pretty punchy words in that regard for the ICC, where he was actually openly critical of the fact that those pitches got those ratings, because as you said, in ODI cricket you don't just want flat tracks which give batters plenty of runs. This is his exact quote, by the way. He said that I would disagree with the average rating of the 2 wickets by the ICC. If you only want to see 4s and 6s being hit, then you have T20s. He'd further go on to say that, look, one-dayers are about skill. It is about, like, if you get a, let's say, a track whereby you can, let's say, you'd have to bat a little more attritionally, conventionally, where you need to look to, bat a little within yourself, and because the bowlers are getting a definite advantage, then in that case, you have to do that. It's about skill. It's about ensuring that you can bat a little longer than you do in a T20I. So, as he said, if you only want 4s and 6s, you've got T20s for that. But having pitches that are a little bit more competitive in nature, that is exactly why you want ODIs. And that's what you want for one-day international cricket. You don't want pitches that will just be giving slam bang, let's say, 4 6s all the time. Because spare a thought for the bowlers. It's 50 overs. Imagine getting battered around all over the park for 50 overs. Not exactly the best look. At least that's Dravid's opinion. He was also of the opinion that another person who happens to share his name as well as hail from the same state has done a phenomenal job behind the stumps as well as with the bat. That person, of course, being KL Rahul. No surprises there. Rahul was in fact of big praise to Rahul. You can make your own jokes about that, where he said that KL Rahul has kept superbly and batted very well. It's challenging for someone who hasn't kept wickets. He has worked very, very hard to improve his skills. Now, he did also mention the fact that KL Rahul, was coming back from a long injury layoff as well. So, to come back from that injury layoff to then seamlessly go to keeping wickets, 50 overs, also bat the way he's batted, he said that that's very, very impressive. He also said that, there's a lot of comparisons made between KL Rahul and Rahul Dravid, because both of them have kind of become part-time wicket keepers in white ball cricket. And he said that no, KL Rahul has done a far better job because he's also kept regularly for Karnataka. You have to remember that Rahul Dravid, when he did keep for India, it was a very part-time sort of a setup, and at that point he hadn't really kept in years. He didn't really keep for the state side, and as he pointed out, so KL has actually done that. So I think he's far ahead of me as a glovesman. And it's very, very impressive what it is he's done. And these are the major talking points that came out of this particular press conference of Rahul Dravid. He spoke about India not being able to get the balance right and potentially having to compromise that now that Hardik Pandya is in fact at least not available for one game. And of course, there's also the fact that, he said that he spoke about the pitches, saying that you want more competitive pitches and not just batter-friendly flat tracks. Praised the KL Rahul, praised a lot of other players, said that, India are doing well. Also had some praise for New Zealand, where he said that these guys would be familiar with the conditions, so I'm expecting it to be a competitive match. That's his opinion, and truth be told, what it is we feel about what it is he said. But what do you guys feel? You can let us know that in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap the bell icon, follow us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget to download the Sports of the Cap, and if you're already on the channel, go right ahead, check out some other videos we've done, and stay tuned, plenty more coming your way through the evening and night. For now, from my side, it's bye-bye.